Good morning, Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever this video ends up landing eventually. This is Kimberly Adams-Mann of the Adams-Mann Team here at Shore West Realtors. And I'm coming on today because I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So I was watching a video this morning from Inman News about brands and promoting brands and marketing and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And they were talking about some really interesting studies about finding the community that you fit in and making sure that your message to your community is clear, which is always a great reminder. I do think that Russ and I try to communicate that very well, but I'm not sure that we communicate it as frequently as we should. So this morning I thought I would come on and talk about something that happened to us this week. And I'd like to find out what your feedback is. So I don't even know if I can say that this is because of my parents or because of how I was raised entirely, because I do think some of it just comes from me, because my sisters don't always have the same reactions to incidents that I would have or responses that I would have. This week on Monday night, well, actually early Tuesday morning, 1 a.m., Russ and I were awakened out of sleep, and because there was a loud banging on our door, and Sir Bobby, we all love Sir Bobby. Sir Bobby started barking his head off, and of course we're thinking, oh my goodness, one of our neighbors is in trouble and we need to figure out maybe somebody has an emergency or something. So Russ quick, slips on some appropriate clothing for answering the door in the middle of the night and goes downstairs, opens the door and sees a woman there in a black puffy coat, and she states that she's a neighbor and she needs formula for her baby at 1 in the morning. Now, some of you guys don't know where we live in Racine, which is fine, but we do live in the downtown area where you sometimes get con artist kind of people, beggars, knocking on doors, asking for money. In the 7 years that I've lived there, I have never had anybody do that in the middle of the night. And it really happens so rarely that even the few times it does, you pretty much know what they are. And my response has always been to somebody who came to us was to try to help them, but I never give money. Now, that's partly because of my parents. My dad, having been a pastor when I was younger, church policy was if someone came and asked for money for food, the church never gave them money, but my dad or a deacon or someone else in the church would take them to the local grocery store, would buy up a whole bunch of healthy groceries and good food for them, load them up in the car, and take them back to their place. So good morning, Eric. It's nice to see you. So people would come and ask people for money. People come and ask people for money all the time. And some are absolutely legitimate people who absolutely need help, and others are not. And a really good way to weed that out is when someone approaches you and says, hey, I need some gas money. You say, fantastic, no problem. Where's your gas can? Let me take you and I'll get your gas can filled up for you. Let's go and get your car done. So that's a way to help somebody without giving to them. But it's been really interesting because this woman was asking for formula in the middle of the night. Clearly, she was not needing formula for her baby at 1 in the morning, because you can feed a baby water in a bottle if you have to overnight, or you just wait until morning to ask. And there's tons of resources in this area if you need formula for your baby. You can go to Halo, you can go to the Racine Food Bank, basically in the same place. If you are one of those people who do need help with groceries, etc., please contact us. I do have some connections and some ins on some things because of some of the charity work that I do in Racine. But this woman came and she was pounding on our door at 1 in the morning. And so Russ put it up on the Nextdoor app. After the next day, he put it up and said, hey, people, just be aware, there's this woman who's going around knocking on doors at 1 in the morning. Just be aware she's asking for money. Be cautious, not cautious necessarily, but, be aware this is happening in our neighborhood. And then he gave her description of her hair and the kind of coat, about how old she was, about how tall she was, etc. And so we had a number of responses to this. Some of them were like, well, make sure you report it to the police. Well, frankly, at 1 in the morning, if nobody is getting, physically hurt or maligned, the police are not going to be rushing out to our house at 1 in the morning. And frankly, I really don't want them to, because I want to just go back to bed and go to sleep. So I don't know that we would call the police, but I do think putting it up on the app, filing a report so that people are aware of it, absolutely a good idea to do the next day maybe, because it's certainly not something worth pulling emergency police out for, or even expecting the non-emergency number to respond to at that time. But one of the interesting things that we put out is we said, we put some things out, and I had somebody today who or last night or at some point in the last 24 hours, responded to our post by saying, our response was that Russ went downstairs, answered the door, determined the woman was just, a con artist, seeker of money type thing, wasn't really wanting help. Could have given her some milk, but that wasn't of interest. So he determined that, and then we closed the door and we went back to bed. But hey, Doreen, nice to see you. So we determined that this woman was not legitimate, closed the door, went back on with our lives. I had somebody answer on the next door, but I'm not going to name names because I don't think that's important. But I thought the attitude was interesting. And she said, seriously, please, you must take care of yourself first. Don't answer your door to strangers, especially in the middle of the night. Can you imagine if she'd been high or had a gun or a couple of thugs out of sight? Remember the old saying, no good deed goes unpunished. In my Mother's Day, it meant be careful helping strangers. I just went, wow. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today and get out there is that if you want to work with us, we are not going to be that kind of person. My initial response to that woman was a bit of anger and a bit of, don't you care about the people in your community? Because our first thought at 1 in the morning when somebody was pounding on our door was one of our neighbors needed some help. And even after that incident happening, I'm not going to stop answering my door if somebody pounds on it at 1 in the morning and needs help. I might not necessarily help somebody who is not in immediate danger, emergencies. But even if this woman was completely a stranger to me, if she was staying on our porch and she was bleeding, I would absolutely be so ashamed of ourselves if we did not pick up the phone and call for emergency assistance. I don't care if she's a stranger or not. And those are the kind of people that we love to work with as well as customers. We want to make sure that our customers are the kind of people who are that invested in our community. One of my biggest, the thing that upset me most about that response was that it showed a complete, utter self-absorption of I am so important, or even saying to me that I am so important that I matter more than whatever is unknown on the other side of that door. If that had been one of my neighbors who was in serious distress, we have a number of kids who live around us with single parents. If that single parent had been in distress and one of their kids out of panic didn't know what to do but went running to a neighbor's door, I would be appalled if I did not answer the door and help them out. I would be ashamed of myself, and I would be mortified if I found out that one of my neighbors or one of the people I knew, and honestly, like I said, if she had been standing on our doorstep and she had been bleeding and in need of assistance, I don't care if she's a stranger. I don't care if good deeds go unpunished. That is not important. We as a community have got to stop looking at everybody as a stranger. I love the old saying where it says, a stranger is a friend you just haven't met. And you've got to think about that for a second. Was this woman legit? Absolutely not. She was just trying to get some money off of us, probably because she wanted some money for beer or drugs or cigarettes or something that was not a need. So we didn't give her money. But if she had had an actual need, we want people to know, you bang on our door. You have a need at 1 in the morning that's an actual need. You come banging on our door. You call our number. We will answer our phone. We will find out. We will help you. We will be there because this community, Racine, Kenosha, southeastern Wisconsin, we care about you. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like if they need our help, we aren't going to be there for them. And this has nothing to do with real estate today. I get that. I know I'm on the Adams-Mann Team page, but this has nothing to do with real estate. This has to do with how we feel about our community. We are invested in the city of Racine. Neither Russ nor myself come from this area. We love Racine and Kenosha. We love southeastern Wisconsin. We choose to live here. We chose to have a house here. We don't have to be here. We have family in the UK. We could always move back to England if we wanted to. We don't. We choose to live here because we know that this is a community where we can help and do good and help other people. And I know that the customers that we work with appreciate that about us and know that about us. And that's why when I'm sitting here seeing people like Eric come on, Eric recently referred his aunt to work with us to help sell her house because you know why? We treated Eric and his family really well when we were doing their transaction, and he knew that his aunt deserved to have somebody help her as well that would treat her well. Louis Luna has just come on, and hi Louis. Oh, thank you. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to have people like Louis. Louis is an amazing painter. If you need somebody in this community to paint your house, there's Russ. Hi Russ. Hi. If you need somebody to paint your house or do some minor interior construction work, hang drywall, do things, Louis Luna will. Lou is going to help you if he has the ability to do it. And that is why we love Lou and why he's one of the vendors that we recommend to people. The 2 home inspectors that we recommend to people, they care about the community and the people that they help. And I'm going to name them: Jim Buffew from White Glove and Marco Celeste from Curb Appeal. These are people who are part of our community. And there's another person, I'll tell you, Don's Electric. I'm going to give them a shout out today as well, because Don is an amazing person in the community. He loves people. Hey Carol, it's nice to see you. So we want you as a community, we want Southeastern Wisconsin to understand that whether your need is real estate or personal, you need advice, you need help, you need direction, we want you to know that we will be there for you. And if you have an emergency and it's 1 in the morning, you can give us a call. However, if you just want to buy a house, let's wait until 8:30 in the morning. This is Kimberly Adams-Mann of the Adams-Mann Team here at Shore West Realtors and TAMThomes.com. Join us again next time you see one of these videos pop up. Join in and share what you want to say. And I'd really be interested to see anybody who watches this afterwards, post some comments below. Would you have answered your door at 1 in the morning? Or would you not have? And I don't care if I get some flack for us having answered our door and tried to help somebody who is a complete stranger. That's okay. But let me know below. Would you want to do that? And would you want somebody to do that too? What if you ran to your neighbors in the middle of the night because you had a desperate situation? Would you want them to answer their door to you? That's the real question, isn't it? Anyway, have a great day and a great weekend. And let us know. If you want to be part of our community, we would love to have you be part of our community and be part of the network of people that we help and that help us. Have a great day. Bye.